the Crooked Anchor and the Patchwork Rooftop. The sun had barely struggled its way through the clouds when the Crooked Anchor woke to a new day, and a large, cabbage-shaped hole still gaping in the ceiling like a mouth mid-scream. Rain had politely held off for now, but David knew better than to trust the Devonshire skies. Cradling the pub's ancient landline in one hand and a mug of lukewarm tea in the other, David was halfway through a conversation with a professional roofer. Yes, it's roughly cabbage-sized. No, I don't know what velocity it was travelling. Look, we need a proper fix, not a patch job. Yes, today would be grand. He was interrupted by the unmistakable creak of a ladder being hoisted outside. Peering through the pub window, David dropped the phone onto the bar in horror. There, already halfway up the roof and dressed in only a pair of tartan underpants and a miner's helmet, was Uncle Raymond. Clutched in one arm was a chaotic bundle of stitched-together tea towels, bits of a kite and strips of bubble wrap, flapping heroically in the wind. Raymond was singing something faintly nautical and deeply concerning. "Don't worry, David," Raymond called down cheerfully, wobbling slightly as he taped down a deflated armband. "I've already sorted it." David flung open the door. "Uncle Raymond, that's not going to hold! You're using pillowcases!" Raymond paused, turned slowly, and with the authority of a man who once survived being stuck in a wardrobe for 3 days, said, "It worked for me back in '78. Back inside, Brian had settled into a new article about the 10 most fashionable beekeepers of the West Country, while Pete was watching Raymond with the kind of quiet intrigue normally reserved for natural disasters and poorly trained magicians. Clifford wandered out with a tray of what he called roof snacks, leftover cabbage chips and gravy cubes. No one accepted any. Not long after, the real roof fixer arrived in a small, neatly painted van bearing the words "Top-tier roofing, reliable since 1992. He stepped out, took one look at the chaotic tapestry waving proudly atop the Crooked Anchor, watched as Raymond hammer-stapled a shower curtain to the chimney and simply muttered, "Ah, I see I am no longer needed here." And without further comment or hesitation, he returned to his van and sped off like a man fleeing the scene of a polite apocalypse. David stood at the pub door, slack-jawed. "Raymond," he shouted, "the actual roofer's gone now. Then the job's done." Raymond yelled triumphantly, popping a party popper from the rooftop and accidentally disturbing a bird's nest. All thanks to Uncle Engineering. Later that afternoon, it began to drizzle. The bubble wrap gave the rain a satisfying pop-pop-pop soundtrack. The roof somehow held, despite every natural law. Inside, David slumped behind the bar with a sigh and wiped down a pint glass that didn't need wiping. Pete took a slow sip of his eternal pint, looked up at the roof and said, "She's never looked better." Brian, still not looking up from his paper, added, "It's rustic, like a waterproof quilt." Just another day at the Crooked Anchor, where cabbage can fly, fashion is irrelevant, and sometimes roofers are simply optional.